Greedent is nerfed. His reign of terror is over, or her reign of terror, depending on which Greedent we're getting here. I don't know which Pokemon is a male and which Pokemon is a female. Some people do. I don't. Hi, everybody. Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! So we had a pretty big buff come down for Greedent in the form of Bullet Seed, but other than that, we had a nerf across the board, and Bullet Seed is not a very good ability. I'm going to read through some of the patch changes really quick here. So its Cheek Pouch ability has been changed. You get less healing per level, less base healing, same with other berries, and your bonuses from eating other berries has gone down slightly. Stuffed Cheeks has actually also given you a smaller shield per berry, but the biggest change, I would say, for Greedent is the Belch damage. So Belch, all the ratios have gone down. As I've mentioned in other videos, there are three things that contribute to damage on moves. There is a ratio based on your either special attack or attack. There is a base amount of damage, and then there is a per level amount of damage. All of them have gone down on Greedent. Just really quickly, the ratio has gone down from 220 to 185. So basically, if you have an attack stat of 100, it used to add 220 damage to it. If you have attack stat of 100, now it would add 185 damage to it. That's the basic way of looking at that. That's not the attack stat you have as Greedent, but in general, that's just a good way of understanding, oh, yeah, it's a percentage there. Per level, depending on what your level is, it used to be 35 damage per level. Now it's 32. And the base damage went from 850 to 700. So a huge decrease in damage for Greedent on that Belch ability. And well, let's go over a few thoughts here. First of all, Greedent was overpowered. Greedent did need a nerf. I'm actually surprised it took so long because they nerfed Sylveon in a half a minute. they nerfed Sylveon immediately. And then Greedent, they waited a long time to actually decide to do anything about Greedent. I'm kind of surprised. I guess they just wanted people to really be grinding for that Halloween, and they didn't want anyone to feel like the reward they were getting maybe was in any way less valuable. Either way, the big question now is, where does Greedent fall in sort of the game's tiers or hierarchy? Or, you know, is Greedent still a great Pokemon? Did they nerf Greedent into the ground? Did they fix it? Is it too powerful? Where is Greedent currently? And I've been playing a decent amount of Greedent since the patch. I have not played a lot of Bullet Seed. I've played it a few times. I'll be honest, part of it is that I'm inexperienced with that build, and another part of it is I don't really like the way that move performs. I don't particularly enjoy it. In general, I'm much more of the mindset that I want things that do a lot of burst damage rather than things that do a lot of consistent damage. The reason for that is if you burst damage something and it's KO'd, that's a lot better than slowly KOing it. So that's just my thought, even though the slowly KOing it might do more damage in the long term. So there could be builds and situations where Bullet Seed, given that it does more damage than Belch over the long term, could be better. I just personally like things that are very bursty. I want opposing Pokemon to be afraid and run, or at least get KO, or at most get KO'd. Not at least. That's the thing I want the most. At least they get KO'd, everybody. So that's why I like the Belch build. It's a lot more bursty. Also, I just like how, you know, I like the wide cone of damage there. So playing Greedent now, I've got to say, you can feel the difference. You can feel the sustain not be as good. You're still very, very tanky, and you have a lot of sustain. And you can also feel the damage drop off. I will say, a lot of situations don't seem to really hurt you too much in the drop off of damage. I really don't think so. So one thing that I will note is that if you look at my damage pre-patch and my damage post-patch, you can see a difference, almost 20K per match difference. So some matches I'd get up to maybe around 100K if I was really doing well that match, but probably hovering around 80,000 damage in a match, which is a lot for a defender and for everything that Greedent does. And now I'm finding myself closer to the 55, 60K range for damage, maybe a little higher if I have a particularly good round. The other thing that was changed, I forgot to mention this, is Greedent's Unite move. So Greedent's Unite move, you are not hitting your belch as often as you were before. They've really toned it back. It's still very, very good, but it's nothing like what it was. I'll actually show you right now. I'll take a little moment here to just show you some of the damage comparisons, and maybe we could look at some of the recovery and stuff like that as well for some of my Greedent matches. So here we have a ranked Greedent match from earlier. I'm not sure if I was using an attack weight here, but I probably was. We have about 51,000 damage, 48,000 damage taken, 40,000 recovery. This was also a match we were kind of winning pretty hard, so maybe I didn't have as many situations to get all my damage out, but 51,000, a lot less than before. Here's another match, 62,000 damage, and I think this was surrendered, perhaps? I can't remember, but it's been too long, but 62,000 damage with 53,000 in recovery. Again, these are post-patch matches. Post-patch matches. This was a particularly killer round, so this was 86,000 damage. I would say this is probably one of those rounds where things were just like, you know, we were just really stomping inside that match. This would probably be the equivalent of a 100,000, you know, K plus round before the patch. And this right here was pre-patch. So this was pre-patch 82,000, and you can see we lost here. This was actually a really close game. But 82,000 on this. We also have an enemy, Greedent, doing 73,000 on this. I had 68,000 in recovery. They had 62,000 in recovery. So we can see the numbers shifting a bit here. Here again, we have pre-patch 77,000 damage with 74,000 in recovery. So we can see those numbers feel a lot different. My verdict is that this Pokemon is still really, really good. It's pretty amazing. It's not S tier best Pokemon in the game anymore, but it still hangs really, really well. I wouldn't be surprised if you see it competitively. And at least now it doesn't feel like you are completely, I don't know. Before, I'm not sure the right way to word this, but before it just felt like you could play this Pokemon and barely even try and do extremely well. So it's nice that you've got to try a little bit harder. Your sustain is a little bit lower. Your damage output is a little bit lower. And I mean, a 20K difference in damage, that's pretty huge. That brings it more in line with a lot of other Pokemon. Still really, really good. I think it's still very much a top tier choice. And playing it today, I still just felt like, yeah, it's not as good, but it's still Greedent. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will see you all next time. Ooh, and also, if you are playing Bullet Seed, I want to hear your thoughts about Bullet Seed because I have not spent enough time with it. Thank you. Goodbye.